What have we got here?
Well, holy cannoli, all my gaming pendulums, they just dropped a brand new Resident Evil trailer. The same trailer teaser that they dropped 2 weeks ago at CinemaCon. So I wanted to take a gander at this Warlock today. Trailer that had at CinemaCon, watching it, judging on the way people described it is the exact description that they said in their articles. So this is that exact same teaser trailer. So we're going to take a look at it. There is some interesting things there that I wanted to take a look at before we load up our ink ribbons and save this into the typewriter. Don't forget to take a moment to like and subscribe. It really helps a brother out and it goes a long way. Now it's time to revisit the haunted mansion that is the world of Resident Evil and break down this brand new trailer.
Hello? I had a little bit of a problem on the road. I was wondering if I could use your phone. Hello?
Yes, we're sorry.
Hey babe, look, I'm really sorry that we got disconnected earlier, but some things have happened. I'm in like a seriously fucked up situation right now. And it looks like there's a chance that we might not get to talk to each other again. I just wanted you to know. I love you.
This whole setup screams Resident Evil 7. Classic, see spooky house, go inside, touch everything. Isolated house, creepy phone, why am I here energy? Even fans immediately clock the similarity to the Baker House setup. The very first impression I get from this trailer is they really nailed the tone of the Resident Evil games with the frantic, terrified, we don't know what's about to happen next or what's to be around the corner. It looks like Cregger really nailed the terrifying part of it. Like, this might actually be kind of scary. I mean, I don't get scared. Horror movies don't scare me. It's basically impossible to make a movie that actually scares me. Even to feel a little bit of unease would be nice. And I can see that that's what Cregger's going for. And he definitely has the chops for it. It's barbarian and weapons. So very cool and interested to see where this is going to go. But I already like the look of it. But starting back from the very first frame of the trailer, Austin Abrams walking across a lawn on the snow. You can also see under his arms he's carrying some type of first aid package. This character, played by Austin, is some sort of courier, and he took a job where he has to take his package somewhere, but this package is some kind of mystery. It does look kind of like the first aid packages in the Resident Evil games. But what exactly is this mysterious package he's delivering? He's in the middle of delivering when all this madness breaks out. So is it the T-virus? Does it contain something important in there? It seems like it's something important that he doesn't want to let go of. It's the major MacGuffin, red herring, whatever you want to call it. He sees a spooky abandoned house, knocks on the door, goes inside. In Resident Evil, you walk up to a door. Of course, if you knock on it, and even if no one answers, you just go in anyways. It's rule number one with the creepy house. You go up, knock on the door, no one answers, you still go inside. Because why wouldn't you? But as soon as he walks into the house, it immediately was giving me Resident Evil 7 vibes. just with like not just the isolated house, but how unkempt it was in there. Not as filthy, because Resident Evil 7 was disgustingly dirty inside the house, but that's only just based on what I played. I didn't actually play RE7 all the way through. The parts that I did play, that opening when he opens the door reminded me a lot, and it's similar to the Baker house. So we got the house, which is just straight up RE7 vibes with the isolated house, creepy phone call, the why am I here energy, and tons of fans on Reddit and elsewhere immediately clocked a similarity to the Baker house in RE7. Translation: you're not the main character. You're not the main character. You are the tutorial level. So we got Austin Abrams talking on the phone. He calls someone and he can't get through, and then he calls again to talk to his girlfriend, who he somehow got disconnected. Looks like he got into a car accident, maybe off the road. Very recently, IGN dropped an exclusive interview video with the director Zach Cregger himself, where he actually goes through the trailer and breaks it down himself. A huge hint to the story is that this event takes place at the exact same time as the 1998 Resident Evil 2 Raccoon City event happened. So this is happening the same time. It's just another one of those stories of when this giant outbreak happened. This character Austin Abrams plays was
another dude on another mission on the other side of town.
So this is happening adjacent to the events of Resident Evil 2, which would place this movie around 1998, which is when Resident Evil 2 came out. So as I was suspecting just from looking at it, I had a feeling it was taking place in the 80s or the 90s.
Yes, we're sorry.
Hey, babe. Look, I'm really sorry that we got disconnected earlier, but
So in this shot right here, you can see that there's something in the window. It's blurry and kind of hard to see. It almost kind of looks like a face, but when I lightened it up and then played that clip back in slower motion, it looked like it was a way bigger creature. As you can see with the slow-mo and the color and the brightness turned up a little, it's like there's an entire thing moving and not just someone's like head, because it just looked like it was kind of a white ghastly face looking into the window at first. But now that I've lightened it up and slowed it down, it looks like some big creature. It could just be the lighting, but it looks like it's something big, not just...
But it could also just be snow. If you look a little closer, what's moving in the background looks like it just could be the falling snow, but it's still kind of hard to tell.
Austin Abrams' character, who I'm not even sure if he has a name yet, he might just be called the Courier. He's on the phone saying he got disconnected with his girlfriend. So was he talking to her on another payphone?
I'm really sorry that we got disconnected earlier.
It's hard to say. This is a trailer, but is this how the movie itself actually opens, with him having a car accident? Or do maybe we see him for a little bit in the car, just meeting who he is, and then he has the accident? Or I can almost see them starting with the Raccoon City event, just showing that it's happening, and then showing how at the exact same time Raccoon City was in trouble. The trouble was spreading everywhere and it was happening on all over the place. So I could totally see that's how the movie opens. And once again, I start rambling on with my screenwriting movie brain. Inadvertently, I have a bad habit of figuring out what a story could easily be just from looking at the trailer. And in case I didn't already say, spoilers. I have a feeling that they're going to open the movie with a news piece or something about the 98 Raccoon City outbreak. But that's just me hypothesizing. So a little bit more of the conversation with the Austin character. And then we see him running through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Oops, sorry, wrong video.
I'm in like a seriously fucked up situation right now. And it looks like there's a chance that we might.
The Joy Looter Simulator is a moment where there's a moment where the guy opens drawers looking for stuff. This is the most faithful adaptation in cinematic history. Cameras watching. Yes, check the left drawer. There's probably herbs in there. Fans literally pointed this out as one of the most authentic details searching for supplies. Fans on Reddit literally pointed this out It's one of the most authentic details, searching for supplies, just like in the games. So if he finds a weird key, that equals progress. A green herb, you're fine. A note, lore you won't read. Okay, I'm really loving what I'm seeing here, as it looks like they're just going for a pure terror style of horror movie, which is none of the Resident Evil movies I thought really represented what a proper Resident Evil game is kind of like. It's you by yourself in desperate situations, finding whatever you can and using it as a weapon, or looking things in drawers. Like, I love the references to this, where I showed the character Alston Abrams going through drawers, which is exactly like something you do in the game, though. If he actually found anything useful in there, I don't know. But then there was they showed a camera, and it was almost like they were focusing on that camera for a reason. But looking at that camera, I don't recognize it from anything in the actual Resident Evil games. But they really are focusing a lot on just a single person terror like the first game, but instead of it being someone who's part of a SWAT team, you're just an average Joe. You don't really do a lot of that in the Resident Evil games until the most recent one. You almost always play someone who's part of the police or someone with weapon experience. You very rarely play someone who has no experience. And to me, this strikes me as a guy who has zero experience in these types of situations, doing whatever he possibly can, just like in the games. He finds a rifle somewhere, so then he probably finds ammo, but just seeing him being terrified, being so terrified that he's moving slowly, terrified of his surroundings. So I'm digging that you're just going for like a pure horror, exactly what Resident Evil should be. Just a straight up horror movie, nothing crazy over the top. This trailer has actually got me more hyped for the movie now, which is exactly what trailers are supposed to do. But after seeing this and looking at it closer for this particular video, I'm just like, yeah, this could really be great. Not just a great Resident Evil adaptation, but a great horror movie. Zach Cregger has proven that he knows how to do some interesting horror movies. But it looks like this take is going to be a very simple, stripped down, basic horror movie, which is the kind of horror movies I love, where it's just simple A to B. You gotta survive, you gotta kill. But I'm just digging the vibe and how much it feels more like a Resident Evil game than the other movies, which got really bigger into the spectacle as the movies went on. And even the very first Mila Jovovich 2002 movie didn't really feel like Resident Evil to me. This to me, exactly like what a Resident Evil movie should have always been like. But back to the actual breakdown, we see him going through some drawers, and then the moment when Austin Abrams' character goes for the keys on the body, that's just like in the games where you find a body and then you can find something on it to use, like keys or a weapon or something, and then the body gets jerked away by what we don't see. And then he falls down a sewer somehow, or he's lowering himself down into a sewer and doesn't realize that there's no bottom. He crashes down, and yeah, it looks like that hurts. So why would he go down in a sewer? Was he escaping from something? He didn't have the rifle on him that he had earlier. So what happened? Why did he jump down that sewer? And why has his ass broken? And why does this guy look so much like Timothy Chalamet? I know you're all thinking it. I just said it out loud.
Get to talk to each other again. I just wanted you to know. I love you.
Down in the sewers, now we see some big, fat, white, bloated thing. I don't recognize that from being anything from the games. Definitely have bloated type characters, but none of them are totally white and bald and clean shaven and 3,000 pounds. But it does kind of remind me of Stellan Skarsgård from Dune. But what exactly is this thing doing? Is it a person? Is it just a huge fat person, or is it some kind of zombie thing? Is there some guy that lives in the sewer who's so fat he can't go anywhere? The snowy car crash scene felt very Resident Evil Village. coal setting, wrecked vehicle. Something went horribly wrong 5 minutes ago. Reddit fans immediately tied that imagery to the opening of RE8. Basically, no one in this universe has ever had a normal road trip. That could be the car accident that Austin Abrams may or may not have been in, or it could be a totally separate event. Then we see some very similar images from the games of the character running away from zombies and then closing a door and they're there banging on the window. And it reminds me a lot of many different moments from the games where you go through that exact scenario multiple times. Multiple legs coming out of the front door of the building, looking pretty bizarre with one of the pair of legs going upwards. So what exactly is happening there? Is it a bunch of bodies connected to each other coming out? I have a feeling we're going to see some wacky creatures that might not even be in any of the games and just ideas they just made. Like maybe that big white bloated guy who I don't recognize could be from the games that haven't played, because I really haven't played any of the newer games past 7. But lots of imagery here, but also still what to me it looks like a stripped down kind of horror movie, just very simple, straight up all about the terror and the horror and isolation that the character feels. It seems like wherever he's going in Raccoon City, as I am assuming he eventually gets there, doesn't seem to be anybody around. But then there's that insane scene where they're falling down, like the zombies are falling down from on top of the building, as if they're chasing after him and they don't care about their own safety or body or what at all, because they're zombies. I guess they don't really think straight. So they're just straight up launching themselves off the roofs to try to catch this guy, but instead they're just splashing into cars. That's at least what I think I'm seeing. This guy's going to be doing a lot of running, so I hope his cardio is up. A lot of running around with his med pack, and does he even know what's in it still? I'm wondering if he eventually looks at it. Is it something to do with the actual outbreak? Is it something to do with the T-virus? In case I didn't already say, spoilers. The trailer ends and then we get the nice big red, just Resident Evil. Plain and simple, Resident Evil. So this is harkening back to the roots of the games of 1 and 2 specifically, where it's just sheer terror. It's you against the monsters. And in this case, it's someone who looks like they don't have any types of weapon experience. So that's even a way better take on it. Instead of having someone who already has the skills, do it with someone who has to gain the skills throughout. But then there's that one shot of the character covered in blood, looking at something raising up from the ground or something. And it's giving me weird alien vibes, that one specific shot. Not that whatever he's seeing is an alien, but the way they are framing it. And Austin Abrams is covered in blood in this moment. So at this point, what has he been through? He's obviously going to go through hell and come out the other side, likely a changed man. But will he actually reconnect with his girlfriend? Because in the trailer, it sounds like he doesn't think he's going to make it through the night. He probably will. And will he get back to his girlfriend? Is there going to be some weird twist? Is it really just going to be a straight up type horror story, which has actually always been my favorite kind of horror movie? Just a straight good versus evil horror movie. Those have just always been my favorite, the classics. This trailer actually got me kind of hyped. I mean, there wasn't too many Easter eggy things in it happening, other than the fact that a lot of it harkens back to the earlier games where it's just you by yourself. And a lot of the imagery, like this happens outdoors a lot. So the earlier games, there wasn't a whole lot outdoors. You were a lot more outdoors in 2. They're saying that this takes place at the exact same time as the outbreak, Resident Evil 2 in 1998. So that was, like I said, something that Zach Cregger said in his IGN breakdown movie. So it was very interesting that he pointed that out. Does that actually give us any hints towards the actual story? In case I didn't already say, spoilers.
I really did use a lot of cues from the games on how to build this thing out, and so yeah, it's a love letter to the games.
Many parts of the Resident Evil games, such as resource management and picking up items around you that you can use in some way. Zombies, yes, but also, what was that? We get glimpses of standard zombies, something big and bald, a nightmare creature with multiple arms coming through a doorway. The key and the corpse was probably the biggest Easter egg in the whole trailer. A quick moment where a body has a key. You go to grab it, the body disappears and gets yanked away. A peak Resident Evil. Congrats on your item. Also, run. Fans called out how this mirrors classic gameplay. Once again, Reddit calls us out. Weapon progression equals game logic activated. The trailer hints at starting with a shotgun, finding weapons later on, which Cregger himself actually confirms. And that mirrors how RE games escalate gear over time. You start out with a knife and a handgun and end up with a rocket launcher. Translation, you will miss every shot with the pistol, then suddenly become John Wick with a shotgun. Sewer level confirmed. Of course it is. Of course we have our sewer level. We see the dark tunnels, wet disgusting corridors, and the movie also concludes. Congratulations, the movie includes house, streets, sewers. That's basically the house, streets, sewers is basically the Resident Evil Holy Trinity all wrapped up into one movie. Fans on Reddit even pointed out the classic progression itself. House, streets, sewers. Probably lab next. Yes, that is very Resident Evil. One thing we didn't see though in this trailer was Umbrella. Are they actually involved? Where is Umbrella? One thing that did stand out, no Umbrella. Interesting, the trailer is being sneaky about it. No obvious giant Umbrella logo yet, but you know they're behind something. Because in Resident Evil, if something goes wrong, it's always corporate. But the biggest Easter egg of all is that it feels like the game. This might be the smartest move. Instead of copying a specific story, the trailer copies the gameplay experience. Constant tension, resource scarcity, exploration, random terror. Even fans are noticing it's less about characters and more about what it feels like to play. What's the final verdict? What is my final verdict on this trailer? Final verdict on this trailer is basically 50% horror, 30% nostalgia, and 20% why are you touching that? If this sticks to landing, we might finally get a Resident Evil movie that understands the assignment. Not we get a guy opening drawers like a champion. If you enjoyed my breakdown of the Resident Evil trailer, please give me a comment and a like and subscribe and tell me down below what your thoughts are. Did I miss anything? I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff. I'm not the hugest Resident Evil lore guy. So yeah, either this is a Resident Evil movie you've been waiting for, or is the hour-and-a-half long documentary about a guy making terrible life choices. But yeah, either way, I'm watching it. So if you want more of my chaotic breakdowns, video game, movie news, and just pure nonsense, hit the subscribe because we're just getting started. And remember, if you see a creepy house, definitely go in. Keep gaming. T-Gan is out.